Let's update you on Hurricane Rina. That's right. Where did that come from? That's what I said when I walked in this afternoon. All of a sudden, by 11 o'clock, we had ourselves a hurricane here with a storm as the hurricane hunters went out there and found, wow, we got ourselves winds that would signify that we do have a hurricane here. This is Hurricane Rina, and this one is in pretty dangerous territory. Reminds some of us of Wilma back in 2005 and also Mitch back in 1998, both of which became Category 5 hurricanes because they were over this very deep, warm water, which continues to exist usually in this area at this time of the year. There's also very little shear, so there's reason to believe that certainly with these cold cloud tops, that Rina continues to strengthen here very close and just off to the east of that little dot there, which is represents the Swan Islands. It's moving west-northwest at 3 miles an hour. By the way, Mitch moved over the Swan Islands with winds of 180 miles per hour way back there in 1998. So let's talk about this a little bit. Again, this is different than 2005. We've had some very deep troughs and cold fronts that have already come all the way down through the Gulf of Mexico. Right now, the position of this trough is actually helping to allow the northern outflow channel to be really exercised quite nicely, and basically it's helping this storm to breathe, and that means it's intensifying. The storms, again, are in and around the center, continue to be over very, very warm waters. Look at that water temperature, 86 degrees, and as I mentioned earlier, this is very deep water, too. So even if it sits here for a couple of days, it'll still be 86 degrees by the time Thursday rolls around. But certainly evidence of past fronts and colder temperatures, which have come down and cool off the Gulf of Mexico, much different than what we had with Wilma back in 2005, where we had not even seen a front come into the Gulf of Mexico at this point. So that's why whatever does come at Florida, if anything, is going to be, I think, a fraction of certainly what we're dealing with and through here. Either way, the typical model spread, as we would anticipate. However, the outlying models are what are bringing this into Florida. Most of the models that we've been watching with confidence kind of sit this thing in here and loop it. You cannot rule out impacts to the Yucatan as early as Thursday, but if you remember Mitch, it was a wild ride, west, south, across the Yucatan, and then up and eventually across Florida. And this time of the year, you can get some pretty wild tracks to these storms.